Hi everyone, Loida with TBC in Southern California, coming to you with a brand new video. And today I'm excited to have on this video Jayson Siano with Sabre out in New York. He is also part of eXp Realty, but on the commercial side. So I know that on my channel you see a lot of residential real estate tips and advice. So now we're going to show you something a little bit differently, and Jayson is going to be sharing with us exactly what made him do the transition from where he was onto eXp Realty.
Hey, it's a new world, gotta adapt to it. Innovation, information, more than the average. Rushing, please ignore the interruptions, cause this is digital discussions.
So Jayson, thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you, Loida. I'm very excited to be here with you. So we really joined recently, and we're very excited to continue the expansion of our brand Sabre on top of the eXp platform. So we are a national advisory firm that has offices in New York, New Jersey, and Florida. We also have folks that are placed in other parts of the country, and we've been continuing to grow on a national basis. But one of the benefits that we saw of joining the platform was the fact that we could not only grow nationally, but we could grow internationally. And what's very interesting about the commercial real estate side of the business is a lot of it is very outdated and traditional. And Sabre's been innovating and doing a lot of things like building a digital marketing agency within our organization and doing a lot of content creation and personal branding for our agents. So there are a lot of synergies with eXp, and a lot of things Glenn, decided to do inspired me tremendously when I heard about what eXp was doing.
Yes. So can you share for those that don't know, or maybe obviously we know you do commercial, how long have you been in the business, and maybe even what you did before you got into real estate?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm in the business now 20 years. So I have an interesting story that I like telling because, a lot of the motivation for me to do what I do today is really impacting, the industry and helping other people, especially younger, less experienced people, because being a real estate agent, whether it's residential or commercial, is not an easy job. So when you're surrounded with a team of people that want you to win, and actually are there to help assist you in any way, it kind of expedites the process and helps people make their way a little bit earlier on. So that's what I spent a lot of my time doing. So I actually, unfortunately, my mother passed away from cancer shortly after graduating college, and my family was in the automobile business. And when my father ended up selling the business, it turned out that the real estate, practically had more value than the business, and that was the moment that I realized that real estate was something that I wanted to learn more about. So I say that, based on that and the different companies that I had spoken to in the beginning of my career after college, it was almost like real estate chose me. My first job out of college was working in the fashion world as a men's buyer for an assistant buyer for men's Prada and Miu Miu and Prada Sport. Before that, I was a DJ, and I started to, when I learned about real estate, I was thinking about what things that I was most passionate about and what I could pursue in real estate, and that ended up being the retail and restaurant industry primarily. Retail real estate has evolved over the last 20 years quite a bit, but we represent many national companies and emerging brands design their national strategy and execute that strategy. And it goes way beyond just the real estate process. So we're involved in helping companies scale in any capacity, whether it's staffing or capital raise or even, construction and financing and all of that other fun stuff that comes along with scaling companies, again, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally.
Did you ever do residential sales or
I
even
have
thought
not.
about going that
Yeah, I have not. You know, I've invested in some residential real estate over time, but you know, I don't know much about the residential side of the business, other than I'm inspired by the residential side of the business because from a marketing standpoint, you know, I always say the residential side is at least decades beyond the commercial side. You know, so I've become friendly with folks like Ryan Serhant, and you know, done a lot of created content with Ryan and talking about just how the industry as a whole is changing and the traditional brokerage models changing. And I encourage people to go look at our Sabre Real Estate YouTube, and that's you and I connected because of your fondness for YouTube and content creation and whatnot. But you know, Ryan and I years ago were talking about just how the world's going to continue to evolve and change, and that's what excited me so much about what eXp is doing. You know, I truly believe that on the commercial side, I can speak to because I'm an expert in that arena. I'm not going to speak to residential, but on the commercial side, I personally believe that the company that you hang your license at is not going to matter as much as it did 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago on a move forward basis. I think development of a personal brand and being basically looking at your life as you are a digital media company, regardless of what industry you're in, and then being, you know, first name, last name, LLC, and kind of moving through life that way. So eXp is, in my mind, the best thing that I've ever seen for individuals on the commercial side, where you have the resources, the tools, the support, the benefit of being able to earn stock, participate as much as you want to in the rev share program, access to health insurance. It's all the things that were major pain points for me when I got started in the business. And I actually brought my team into the platform to provide those things that Sabre could not provide alone. So that's what I'm really most excited about, because I wish something like this existed when I started out years ago. Would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But here we are. So I'm happy. I'm still young, so I have a lot of time to grow on the eXp platform now.
Yeah, and I completely agree with everything that you just mentioned. In fact, a few of the things that you mentioned are why I transitioned into eXp. And in fact, one of the things that I love is the collaboration and meeting other agents all throughout the country. I was watching you on Instagram, and I know that you were out in Arizona, and I recognize some of those faces on there because they're also on social media. So the fact that we are all connecting and we all have the same goal in mind of, you know, continuing to grow, continuing to empower others, and just becoming better agents, whether it's in commercial or real estate. I think that's one of the biggest things, the biggest things that our company helps us with and pushes us to do.
It's so true. And I mean, even in a short amount of time, I've found that. And, you know, I just want to be surrounded by other people that help make me better every day. And I want to also, you know, provide that opportunity to people around me. So I operate very much from a abundance mindset. And unfortunately, in the commercial real estate industry as a whole, people operate from a scarcity mindset. They believe if you win business or you get a listing, that it's one listing less that they'll have. I don't see it that way. I don't see anybody as competition. I think that there's enough for everybody to win, and I want to help prop people up and make them better tomorrow than they are today. And I think that's the like-mindedness that I've found at eXp. And, you know, it's also similar to the like-minded nature of the people that I've seen that leverage social media. So it's an amazing combination. It's very powerful. And, you know, it's funny because we met as a result of you doing something with the Digital Army, which I'm involved in. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even know that you were part of the eXp family at that time. And it was just another sign to me that I made the right decision, because after hearing you in Clubhouse and learning what you were about, it was just, again, another confirmation that I'm in the right spot.
Yes, and now that you bring up the Digital Army, can you share a little bit more about that? And also, another question that I have is, how did COVID impact your industry and also push you to create more content and go on social media and be online?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with the second part first. So, the pandemic was, aside from obviously the negative things that happened with health and all of the other stuff that we know about, for me, from a business perspective, it was a gift because everything that I was doing and everything that Sabre was doing pre-pandemic was a little confusing to a lot of the less innovative people in our industry. I have a videographer that follows me around, and we do all different types of things with media, and basically bringing attention to the different things that we're working on, which generates more leads and more information, and overall is a benefit to our clients. So for me, the pandemic kind of changed the mindset from like, what's the ROI of social media for a lot of the people in the industry to, wow, I need to start using social media. I understand now that when the lights go out and everybody's forced to work from home, that social media is a way that you can communicate, and it doesn't matter where you are, and it gives you a lot more of a platform to expand and whatnot. So really, the overall pandemic kind of fast forwarding, accelerating everything by a decade or so, has worked in our favor. So we're blessed for that, because initially when it hit, it was very scary for everybody,
Yeah.
regardless of what position you're in. So that's great. And then just what was the first part of your question? I apologize.
The digital army.
Yes.
How did you, yeah, go ahead and
It's
talk
all,
about
yeah,
that.
it's funny because, so the digital army was actually something that started when I started traveling the country and developing our national platform about 5 years ago, and leaning heavily into social media. I was meeting like-minded people across the country that were in all different types of industries, but obviously the people that were in real estate, I had a lot more in common with. So I call those folks my band of misfits across the country, and I say that in the most loving way possible, because again, like 5 years ago, we were considered outsiders, or just people doing innovative things on video and social media. The industry as a whole didn't really understand it, so we formed a bond. And at the beginning of the pandemic, I decided it was time to formalize that. I started the CRE Digital Army to help people understand how to use these tools better, how to develop their personal brand, and how to go out and build their business using these new tools. I'm of the mindset that you don't have to completely shy away from the traditional methods that worked. I started out, doing things in a very traditional way, and got good at that. But I also believe that you have to kind of sprinkle in the new technology and use social media to take your business to a different place. The Digital Army you can learn more about the Digital Army at www.credigitalarmy.com, on Instagram, CRE_digital_army. And again, I'm not trying to tell everybody that like Sabre is the place that they should be, or eXp is the place that they should be. I want to be able to help anybody at any company be better at what they do. Ultimately, I believe, if I have good reason to believe that eXp is a great option for myself and the people around me that I care for dearly, I'm just saying that out of what I believe about the future of the industry as a whole, where we're going, and everybody should make up their mind for themselves. I'm not about selling people on things, but I do believe that this is the future of our industry.
Yeah, there's so many benefits that I have seen just being with the company since like 2018, and how fast it is growing. And I remember when I joined initially, I was like, why is everyone talking about eXp? Leave me alone. Don't try to sell me on it. But after I really started to pay attention with everything that they offer and how it would benefit me long term to grow as an agent, and the passive income and all these other things, then that's when it made sense to make the transition. And I'm so happy and excited that I did. And I tell other agents that are considering it, I tell them, you know what, ultimately it's your decision, whatever it is that you want to do. I will tell you what my experience is, and then you can either take that or leave that, but no one's kind of like pushing it down your throat, or making you go and join the company.
Completely. And I couldn't agree more, Loida. The initially when a few people reached out to me to talk about the possibility of getting involved, initially I was just closed off to the idea. So it was a very quick no thank you.
Yeah.
And then it came, it got to a point where I was like, yeah, well, it's primarily residential. And at one point in my career, I was at CV Richard Ellis, who's very, corporate, buttoned up commercial real estate global company. And it was, I didn't have the greatest experience at a very big corporate, in a very big corporate environment like CBRE. So for me, initially, it was just, no, thank you. It's more residential and I'm not interested. I have a great thing going at Sabre. And by the way, I get a lot of questions like, Jay, you clearly don't need to be at eXp. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And that's what's so amazing about it, because literally the more I learned about it, the more I was like, what am I missing? This seems too good to be true. So you're telling me I still own 100% of my company. I get to earn stock along the way, doing exactly what I was doing otherwise. Oh, and if other people decide to join as a result of the fact that I introduced them to the platform, et cetera, there's revenue share, right? Which, by the way, even if eXp did not have rev share, I would have joined based on everything that I mentioned. So I look at the rev share as sprinkles on the sundae. You could decide to participate as little or as much in that if you want to, but it had nothing to do with my decision to do it, and bringing my team onto the platform. Because again, Glenn solved the pain points of being a real estate agent, health insurance, being completely commission based and being on that commission hamster wheel that we all are on at the beginning of our careers, which actually is also one of the worst things in my mind about commercial real estate. Is typically the bigger traditional commercial real estate brokerage companies also kind of promote the concept of taking a draw, which typically puts agents in debt before they even get started, right? So now you're waiting for your commission checks to come in. When they do, they're going back to pay off your debt. You're never getting ahead, something that I'm very passionate about. And I think it's a major problem in our industry, kind of like student debt, same concept. So, this was another big reason for me that I knew that I'd be able to use those things to help other people at all stages of their career, and that I wished I had access to earlier on. So, Sabre's doing amazing things across the country. And I know that as a result of joining eXp and leveraging the eXp platform, that I could pour some gasoline on what we're doing.
Yes. All of this has been such great information, Jayson, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. For anyone that maybe already does commercial real estate and they're interested in maybe talking to you one-on-one, having a personal conversation, maybe they think, well, maybe he's just saying that because he's with Loida on a video, but I really want to find out from Jayson directly how it's really like. How can they get a hold of you, or what's the best way they can reach you?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that, because Lloyd, I pride myself on being available because I'm truly trying to make an impact and help individuals. So I am available. Best way to reach out to me is through any of my social platforms. I would start with Instagram, Jayson Siano, JaySonSiano on Instagram. DM me and we can go from there. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Even if it's just mentorship or bouncing things off me, I love, it's my way of giving back at this stage of my career.
Yes. And along with Instagram, are you on YouTube or any other social media platforms where people can also add you?
Yeah, for sure. LinkedIn is a great place to find me. Please look for myself as well as Sabre, Sabre, and YouTube. Sabre's on YouTube. I don't have my own personal channel, at least yet. Maybe I'll get there. But all of our content is on Sabre Real Estate on YouTube. And Sabre Real Estate is also on Instagram and LinkedIn and the other usual places. Clubhouse also, spending a lot of time on Clubhouse, loving that platform. I know you are as well.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you once again, Jayson. If you're watching this video, make sure that you guys go and follow Jayson on Instagram and everything that he's doing. And with that being said, we'll see you on the next video.
Thank you, Loida. Thank you for the opportunity.
Cause this is digital discussions.